Hello, everybody. Good to be back with you. Happy Sunday. You know, I don't have the depth of research experience that some of the people that you've heard in this conference have had and have devoted many years of their lives to. And I realize we're at the Crown Plaza, we're not in church, but if you don't mind, I would like to address a little something that would, to some people, might be construed as tantamount to a little preaching. If you're okay with that, I'll proceed. I named the program Caravan to Midnight. In 2006, I bought the domain name. I didn't really know what I was going to do with it. I just knew that it was a cool name. And actually, the first time that I saw it was on the cover of a Robin Trower album from 1978, when I worked at the infamous, I would say, Zoo radio station, KZEW. And I listened to the record, and I didn't really hear anything on the record that would suggest that a title like this was appropriate, but it was a cool title, so I got it, and I got to thinking about it. And then there was a picture that came out some years later called Insomnia, and Robin Williams, the late Robin Williams, and Al Pacino were in it, and it was a murder mystery. And Robin Williams played the part of a really kind of a cheesy writer. And he would take the call in Pacino in the middle of the night and saying things to him like, yeah, midnight, too late for yesterday, too early for tomorrow. And I thought, yeah, that's really true. And then as time went by, there's the bulletin of the atomic scientists you may know about. They have their doomsday clock, depending on the nuclear tensions or nuclear whatever that's going to bring about the end of the world. And I thought, yeah, midnight is when yesterday's gone. It is that magic moment. It's just, it's almost an imaginary point in time where what has been is now past and what will be is en route. And as we drove down here today, Main Street, a little bit of Harwood, and then finally on to Elm Street. We're right here at Griffin and Elm. Right down Elm Street is where midnight happened for John Kennedy. I recall a story by Ray Bradbury. I was privileged to interview one time on Coast to Coast AM. And in one of his stories, I can't recall which one it is right now, they were after a guy who had gone rogue in some futuristic setting. And the guys that were the main good guy in this insisted that this man that they were after, because they were going to have to take him out. One guy with his weapon was saying, going to shoot him in the head, and this other guy said, no, don't do that. That's an undignified way for a person to check out. Shoot him in the chest, not in the head. And you think about the brutality of the assassination of John Kennedy, and then you think that right over here, just right up the road here, Lee Oswald came upon the midnight hour, handcuffed to a detective who was murdered by Jack Ruby. And I got to thinking about this, and I just feel like telling you this a little bit. Within the last, I would say, day and a half, my lovely fiance, Brenda Richards, back there, whose blog, Truth About South Africa, she tells the truth about her country. And I met her on the program, my program in 2014, and then met her in person in 2015, and the rest, as they say, is history, and some history yet to be made. I asked her if it would be all right for me to tell you this, and she said, yes, it's a calling, and so I will. I will spare you the worst of the details. But Brenda was effectively murdered. She was attacked and died. That's her right back there, little blonde girl. She cannot come to a shooting range with me, even to come into the room and observe, because her country is now on a terrorist watch list. It's on a terror list now, so no, can't do that. Which just goes to, that's just a little piece of injustice that I wanted to pass it on to you. But here's what happened. We were sitting at lunch, and now I know this is true, so you have only our words for it, but you have them. And she said an angel just appeared behind the woman next to us and was leaning over as if he was trying to hold her. Now listen, they say that there's no such thing as part Italian because Italian takes over everything. I think that's true. So I'm going to try and keep a grip here because it was actually quite a moment. She said, I wonder if I should say something. And I felt a hand, not literally, but I sensed that I should just not suggest yes or no, but just let her make that decision, and she did. So she leaned over to the woman and said, excuse me, I know that you don't know me from a bar of soap, but I want to tell you that I just saw, here comes the Italian, I just saw an angel appear before you, behind you, with his arms outstretched as if he was hugging you. The woman burst in tears and said her husband had just died. The last thing, and they talked for a few minutes, the last thing that Brendy said to the woman was, you're stronger than you think. And the woman burst into tears again because those are the last words that her husband spoke to her. The reason I'm telling you this story is this. Every one of us will meet our midnight at some point. It could be 10 minutes from now, it could be 50 years from now. There's a man alive on Java who is 140 years old, and his advice to everybody is just be patient. You have to have patience. He made his funeral arrangements 25 years ago. Everybody's gone. Yeah, he's just going, I'm ready, but I don't hear the bell, so I'll just sit here and continue to be patient. The point is that it was a day very much like today that John Kennedy was assassinated on. It was a bright, crisp day in November. John Kennedy is still with us, as is Lee Oswald. This is not the end. There is ever so much more. All of this still goes on. And we would do well to remember that Father is watching all of this. And while we go through these documents and these speeches from people who are interested that the truth be revealed. You know, Ephesians, we have it right on the front page of Caravan to Midnight. Take no part in the works of darkness, but instead expose them. And that's what we have to do. That is our calling. There is nothing that is more important than truth, is there? And so now we've just gone through this election, and I think, I don't know how politically inclined you are. I suspect I know, but I don't know. But now we have a new deal. We have a new deck. And what will happen when those cards are dealt is all in the numbers somewhere. The numbers that measure everything, time, distance, speed, all of it. Our lives are measurable, but we only have a glimpse of things within this bubble. But for people like Brendy, every once in a while there's a little rip in the fabric, and she can see beyond it. You have this capability too. And so I just want us to just take a moment to remember why we are here, why we're really here. It's not because you didn't have anything else to do over a weekend. It's because you want to know. You want the world to know. You think about the small percentage of people that want to participate in the American Revolution. That's all it took. It wasn't 50%, it wasn't 90%, it was a small percentage of people, but they got it done. And now this soft chair that our forefathers and foremothers built for us has the potential to make us soft and even weak. So for whatever it may be worth to you, let me just say there is no safe space. The only safe space is in the palm, in the hollow of the hand of the Lord. And no other place is safe. Doors will be opened that no man can close, and doors will be closed that no man can open. But it is, I believe, a sacred charge put upon us to carry the word forward, to make the people, the young people who come behind us, make them aware that these things have happened, that evil never sleeps, that there are conspirators, that these conspiracy theories, sometimes they're not theories, they're real conspiracies. What happened to this country on November 22nd, 1963, in my opinion, was a coup. I'm sure you will agree. It was the beginning of what became the display of incivility at worst and frankly, borderline treason in the display of violence and upset and the destruction of property and the rejection of an election and so forth and so on. We cannot trust, and our founding fathers knew this, you cannot trust your government. You cannot. Lord Acton said it and remains true today. Absolute power corrupts, absolutely. And the last absolutely is not like for sure. It means everything is corrupted. Absolute power will corrupt everything, and then we'll have to live in it. And worse than that, we'll have to explain to our children and their children why we let this happen. So I'll say these last words, which are Brendy's words. You are stronger than you think. God bless us, everyone.